Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Before we bring in our guests, I just want to acknowledge that we recently lost a legendary singer, songwriter, and musician who was also a good friend of the show, and we will miss her dearly, known and adored by the music world as Melanie. Our sympathies and prayers go out to her family. Born out of the intensely creative and artistic art rock and fusion movements of the 70s, Happy the Man is one of the most legendary progressive rock bands of all time. Although Happy the Man only released a few albums before breaking up, their impact was strong enough to durably endear the group to a cult following that has been growing ever since. And with the passing of the years, Happy the Man's music has demonstrated a timeless quality, which suggests that it was not only ahead of its time, it was also in many ways beyond this world. Happy the Man has returned with a new album and is ready once again to thrill their devoted fans worldwide. The new album picks up right where they left off, characterized by strong compositions with varying mood and intensity while creatively combining the quirky interplay of rhythms and melodies with lush atmospheric textures. Their new single, Only Love, was released on Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 15th of this year. The song is from the band's highly anticipated forthcoming album of the same name. Stanley Whitaker, Riddle, Michael Beck, and Rick Kinnell have reunited and recorded a phenomenal new song promising to please fans of the band and Prog fans worldwide. Please welcome guitarist and lead vocalist Stanley Whitaker, drummers
Hey,
Riddle, Michael Beck of Prog Legends. Happy the Man to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, guys.
Hey,
hey, we're being interviewed by the legend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Well, it all
definitely.
started. I'm very sorry to hear about Frank, by the way. Frank Wyatt passed away in January of 2023. But
Yeah.
that kind of sparked something, and you guys got back together kind of because of that. Is that right?
Well, it was definitely a catalyst for it. I had actually been working on my first solo album record ever, and Only Love was then called Brilliant Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to be the title of my first solo album, and that's all I had. That's all I was focused on or working on. I had no intentions at all really of putting the band back together. And oddly enough, the morning after Frank passed, it was January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
I awoke to the muses in my head telling me, Stanley, now it's time to put Happy the Man back together. And so I was like gobsmacked. I was, nah, what are you talking about? Anyway, I had a good inner conversation and decided it all made sense because, like, Rick had sent me a little drum trigger machine that's back here on this table.
Mm-hmm.
And I was starting the drums on it. I had all the guitars, all the bass, and most of the vocals, but the drums were flustering at me, and I was like, God, you know what? Who's going to play drums better than Riddle and Mike Beck, my two favorite drummers on the planet? So I called Rick first, and then I called Ron and Mike, and they were all into it, and it just seemed like a good thing to do. We all had material, and but it felt time sensitive to get this song out, and that was sort of our priority for the past year, just working on Only Love. But
Well, it's a great song. I really like it. And it's different because you got vocals. You know, a lot of your music does not have vocals. Every once in a while it pops up where you get vocals. Talk about the lyrics and why they were written as well.
wow, yeah, that's a good story. Just because I usually don't hear lyrics in my head, and I have
Right.
a very hard time just sitting down and trying to write meaningful words. Whereas music, I get a lot of music ideas pretty constantly. So I'm blessed and very grateful for that. But never words. And this was 3 months. Let's see, my last acoustic gig was Friday, March 13th of 2020. And through that whole summer, that was really the first COVID summer. And I was so upset at the lack of attention and really trying to fix the problem from the government at that time, that I was so frustrated and so sad. And basically in a very prayerful moment, I asked myself, what would John Lennon say? It's like, man, John Lennon, we need your spirit so bad. We need your words. We need your voice. What would he have to say? And anyway, next thing I knew, I was scribbling down. I wrote like 12, 15 pages of lyrics and have enough for 3 or 4 songs out of all of it. But that's where it all initially sprung from. And yeah, mostly just I was angry that there wasn't more being done, and not enough artists out there talking about it.
Right.
So that's mainly it.
I wrote down a little notation here that the song was a Beatles "All You Need Is Love" message, and you just said it.
Yeah, that's it, my friend.
Exactly right.
It really is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, a lot came out of COVID. I mean, there was a lot of music that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
But as far as, I don't know, other things, like you said, government and, talking about love and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't hear it that much, like we used to anyway.
Nah.
Yeah.
So it's a return to that era, I guess, because it's a meaningful song, and hopefully we'll have everybody singing along to it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What can we expect on the new album? What kind of music? Is it going to be a little bit like the last album, or?
Well, gosh, one of you guys want to take that one?
Well, the only thing I can say is I've been working on a tune that I did a number of years ago, but I'm rework it for the band, and it's called 4th of July, and it's a piece I wrote for the fireworks display. It was like one of the biggest at the time in Dallas, Texas. And so it's very explosive, very high energy, that
very
kind of
fusiony.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And
also mixed with, because it was a fireworks thing in 4th of July, it was a lot of there's a bit of Americana in it. It also is kind of a fusion between orchestral, mostly, symphonic stuff, and rock band.
So it's perfect. That's one of the
it's very majestic, very majestic sounding, I think.
Yeah, it would fit right in with Service with a Smile.
Good.
Yeah, and it does have a bit of the old Happy the Man sound to it too. Some of the blowing, nice stuff.
It feels very Happy the Man.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does.
And then Michael's gonna bring some songs to the table.
Good.
Well,
We're gonna let Michael sing.
I have a lot of material, but I've done a lot of a lot of my stuff is sort of in the world flavored stuff, world beat, that kind of thing. So if it fits into what we're doing, hell yeah.
Why not?
We'll bring it in, see what we can do with it. I mean, to me, the best thing about the band from years ago, and even now, since we work together again, is that we work together so well. It's just everybody respects the other person, knows what they can do, and it's just an individualistic, respectful working situation, and everyone's completely open to letting that person do what they think it should be. We sculpt together into the Happy the Man sound, and that was how it was years ago, and that won't die. That'll be back again.
Yeah.
I think we proved it, just with a bit of a different sound, like Stanley said, because and in the old days, Stanley, you wrote Stumpy and all the stuff that was more of a rocker than the other guys.
Yeah, I always wrote the rockers.
You being the writer right now with what we're doing, that's how it's going to fall. But by the time the rest of us put some input, who the hell knows where it may go? So
yeah. Well, and I
that's
have a whole bunch of
great. I mean,
there's a lot of instrumentals that I have. Like I said earlier, where I was starting to work on a solo album, and I luckily over the past 25 years have archived. Whenever an idea would hit me, I'd go up and record it, even if it was just 10 seconds long. And that's usually how I get the ideas across there, from, to develop that. That's such a cool, like we have a song following up Only Love called We the People. That'll be the next one.
Oh, great.
There's a real funky guitar lick that I wrote probably 15 years ago and thankfully recorded it, because I've learned over the years, if I don't record it, I will never remember it. So many times I'm in the car driving and I gotta, oh man, what a great idea. And I just keep singing it over and over in my head, the melody, and I'll remember that. But
no, man, no, we're not 40. We're not 40 anymore.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But these days you can, record on your little cell phone. So that's
right. It's a lot easier. It really is.
Yeah.
You guys, I remember you guys played at Near Fest. Was that the last big show you guys actually did a reunion together?
Yeah, that was the last one that I did with the band.
Yeah, that was we got together specifically for that show.
Right.
I was out on the West Coast in LA playing with a group called Tengen that has some pretty cool, all their own music. And we were down in Mexico, and I met all these two promoters for Near Fest, Rob LaDuca and Chad Hutchinson. And they came up to me and said, man, if you put Happy the Man back together, we'll hire you to headline, next year's Near Fest. And I was like, what are you talking about? Nobody knows who Happy the Man is. And anyway, they proceeded to break out their laptops and show me all these websites and stuff from all over the world. And I was like blown away. It's like, no way. I said, really?
Yeah, you guys played with some good bands too. Anecdotin was on my show.
Anecdotin.
They're a great band. Great. And North Star. You guys played with North Star.
Yeah.
And day 2, Transatlantic was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, those were some good shows. It's a shame that the Near Fest thing kind of went under, but
it is a shame.
Guys at Prog House up in New Jersey, they've continued the torch, so they put on some shows throughout the years up in New Jersey.
Are you guys going to tour this album?
Oh, hell no.
Listen to him. Yeah.
Well,
jury's out.
Never say never, but I mean, if it was getting together to do stuff off the new album mostly, then maybe that could happen. But if we got to learn Nims and Stumpy and all that stuff again, I don't know if I still have the patience.
Well, at least DC area, you should, play a few places there, because everybody still remembers you there.
It's true. It's
true.
It
would be way fun. It's a ton of work and a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
That are crazy. So it would have to be worth it for everybody, to do it.
Yeah, because we ain't young and spry like we used to be.
But we can still rock. We can still play. The best.
Oh yeah, Ron and I are ready. Ron and I are ready, dude.
All I got to say is Keith Richards, okay?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Would you see the?
Well, Keith had a few blood transfusions this day, so he started fresh a couple.
He only looks better, I think, after all those.
He has gotten better.
He actually looks really good.
Yeah, he looks better.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
So let that be a lesson to
us. But we'll take what comes. I mean, maybe one of the late night shows will want to have us on playing Only Love, and we get together just to do something like that. That I'd be very hip to. So,
well, how about Cruise to the Edge?
Oh, the ship.
Yes, the ship cruise. Yeah, those are pretty cool.
All the prog bands.
But then we'd have to learn a bunch of old Happy the Man.
Yeah,
it's all right. You can do it.
You know, the
Logistics.
Dixie Dregs are out touring again.
That's right.
Oh, are they really?
Can love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Morse, he's a monster and he never stopped. I mean, he's been with Deep Purple for probably 15, 20 years or something.
I think they're
Although
riding
I
our
think he
age.
just left Deep Purple. So
Yeah, he just showed up in Clearwater for the Kansas show.
Oh,
we
really?
Yeah. Because Rick was sick or something, so he replaced Rick.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
How are Kansas sounding?
How did we miss that one?
Well, Kansas is awesome. Of course, there's
Oh,
not a
I
lot
know.
of the
I was
original
on-
guys, but
I was on tour
Yeah.
opposite those guys for
Really?
a whole European tour when I was with Blue Oyster Cult.
Huh.
So we did a whole tour with those guys and had such a great time.
well,
Oh,
Happy
I
the
bet that
Man,
was a good
it's
show.
it's a rare band because you're an American prog band like Kansas.
Yeah.
And you know, another band that comes to mind from the DC area in Baltimore, Crack the Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Columbo,
Oh,
John
yeah.
Columbo.
You know those guys? Did you know
They're
those
very
guys?
good
Those are-
friends.
those are-
I knew John.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
time ago. Yeah.
Did you ever play
played
with
on
them?
John's very first solo album, Blowing
Uh-huh.
Up Detroit.
Right.
He had me come in and play 3 guitar solos on 3 songs. And yeah, those guys are some of my favorite people.
That's
in
funny,
music
man.
because they've
John
stayed-
asked me I was supposed to do a tour with John way back.
Mhm.
And he sued his record company 3 days before rehearsal started, and that ended that. So
Oh man.
mhm.
Oh, wow.
That was after, it was a long time ago. But
Yeah. Well, they headlined my wife Leanne put on a big fundraiser event for me 10 years ago when I discovered a golf ball size thing in my throat, and I had to get all kinds of cancer treatments and stuff. And they were the headliner for the show, and I hadn't seen them in a long time. And Rick Wachowski, I adore. Rick is one of my favorite fun guitar players on the whole planet. And they've shown up for me and I've shown up for them. Great tidbit. Mike, you might remember this was on our first earliest Happy the Man tours going to colleges.
yeah.
We had a double bill with Crack the Sky at some college, and we went out and switched the words around so it said Crack the Man, Happy the Sky.
That's funny.
I don't remember that, but that's good.
That was little
That's
pranksters.
funny.
Hey, Ron, when were you with Blue Oyster Cult?
I was with them quite a while ago. It was 86 through 91, I believe.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
that's
have
why
to
he's got
play
white hair.
cowbell?
What's that?
Did you have to play cowbell on that
We
song?
did.
I
Sure,
didn't.
yeah.
My drum roadie did the cowbell. Actually.
Really? Oh, man.
I was cheating, It was like delegating. I was delegating responsibility.
Oh, gosh. I'm friends with Corky Lang. You know Corky Lang from Mountain.
Yeah.
He gave me a little cowbell because
Of course.
on
Yeah.
Mississippi Queen you got that cowbell too.
Yeah, absolutely. Mississippi.
Oh man, I haven't heard that name Corky Lang in a long time. But yeah, he was the drummer for Mountain.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how cool is that?
West Bruce and Lang. That was another band he was in.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah,
they had moments.
They did. I do want to tell you, man, the Muse Awakens. I really love that album. You know, I heard some of the critics saying, "Oh, there's too much fusion and this and that." They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, they thought we got all jazzed out.
No. I hear a lot of prog. As a matter of fact, on some of these tracks, I heard a little bit of Jeff Beck. You know, which I love.
Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that any day.
Yeah, especially on Contemporary Insanity.
Yeah.
You know, it was an incredible video too. Great track.
Now?
That was a great track.
Say, Mike?
Well, nothing. I'm listening.
I thought you said there was a video
man.
too for that.
No.
Yeah, that was the one tune Dave Rosenthal wrote that was pretty specifically, he wrote it in the total style of Happy the Man, and one day he ended up playing with us, so that was cool.
Yeah, David went on to some big things, didn't he?
Oh,
Wow.
Dave's a big shot. Yeah. Dave Rosenthal, man, he's been the music director for Billy Joel. He's played with Billy Joel for at least 20 years. And he's been their main music director, I think, for the past 7. But yeah, very gifted fellow. We met him because me and Rick Kennel had a band called Vision that were playing up in a room in Poughkeepsie, New York,
right,
in the 80s. And Dave showed up with every single Happy the Man song fully transcribed, every single part.
Really?
And we were all like, what? You no way. And he was like, you guys didn't write it out? Nah, we didn't write anything out, man. We just practiced incessantly.
We just did it 2,000 times each.
Yeah. That
video he did of Contemporary Insanity on YouTube, where he plays it all, is incredible.
Oh, is that with him playing?
Yeah. All by himself?
Oh, okay. I have seen that. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
He won 3 Grammy Awards.
Oh, did it really?
He played with Rainbow, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen, Enrique Iglesias, Robert Palmer, Steve Vai.
Wow, you remember the Julio Iglesias one? That's a good.
Yeah, Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he wasn't in the band long, right?
Nah, we only stayed together. What, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and decided, he had to go back to his gig, which paid considerably more than being in Happy the Man did. And Joe Bergamini, the drummer on that album, is a big in demand guy up in Broadway, up in New York. He's in a lot of the big Broadway shows.
Oh,
and
cool.
That's how he's earned a lot of his livelihood.
Well, I love the album. Some of my favorite tracks are Maui Sunset. That kind of had a Camel feel to it. The prog band Camel.
Well, that's another David song too.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
Yeah, he fit right in.
Slipstream, that was a favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Lunch of the Psychedelicatessen. I love that. That had some fusion in it.
Yeah, that one. I was very Gentle Giant mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some good stuff on that record, but it was
great stuff. Yeah,
in Prog world.
Barking Spiders. Oh man, you know what that sounded like? That sounded like King Crimson from the Red album, and a little bit of Jeff Beck.
Yeah, that one. A lot of the people I've taught guitar over the 100 years I've been around, that song is sort of a culmination of 3 or 4 of my exercises that I used to show people.
That's funny.
Yeah, every lick in that almost is from an exercise that I used.
And the title's so cool too, Barking Spiders.
Yeah, you got. We never took ourselves very seriously musically, but for me personally, I think far too many progressive rock musicians take themselves far too seriously.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And so I always thought it was, let's put a little humor in there while we're playing this.
Why not?
Technical stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of a Zappa vibe almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Zappa was perfect at not taking himself too seriously.
No. I don't think he had one serious lyric.
Nah, he did not.
Shadow Lights. You had some vocals there. Awesome vocals, as a matter of fact. It's a great track. And Kindred Spirits was very prog, very whimsical. Great tune. Is it number 2 Quinto Mara? Is that the name of that track?
Quinto Mara.
Quinto Mara.
How Frank pronounced that one.
Yeah,
that was a tough song to learn because Frank was able to tap into the universe on a whole nother plane there, and always would come up with his own chord structures where over the years I just called them Frank chords.
Yeah, exactly.
I had no idea what they really were on the guitar. but that was a tough song. That was a great song though, very powerful.
Yep.
Tune of Frank's, but hard to play. It had some weird. We always tried to feel the time changes rather than having to ever count anything out. And that one I remember having to count in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 1, 2. What that.
I did that many times.
Yeah, you had to do that a lot.
But then you would lose it. I mean, it'd smooth out. And in fact, that's the thing I thought was best about us was all the weird time changes we did.
Mm-hmm.
It was so smooth you didn't realize that they were changing as often as they did.
Exactly.
So I think we're very good at that. Yeah. Yeah,
very
it just
well
flowed.
said.
We flowed very well. Yeah, you didn't know you were in 7/4 to
Yeah,
in Prog,
always having people coming up and asking what time signature stuff.
Yeah, I never. Yeah, I couldn't even answer it half the time. Yeah, I don't know.
4/4.
Count it. Yeah.
In prog music, sometimes you can't make a mistake because some things can be improvised, and it could turn into a different song. Who knows?
Yeah.
But Stanley, most of our stuff was fairly worked out. I mean,
it was so worked out.
It was like,
really?
It was just, there wasn't a whole lot of improv. It was
the only
everything
improv would happen when we were coming up with, like for me, when I was coming up with a guitar solo, I'd work it out. And we practiced so much, you would keep fine tuning it. So there was no improv.
It was all presented like a classical piece. I mean, it was laid right out.
Yeah.
I talked to Todd Rundgren once when they got Utopia and they did a reunion.
Oh, really?
And he was saying how difficult it was to play all those songs again. So I guess it would be the same for you guys, right?
Yeah, that would be very similar with us. Who is his keyboardist?
Now? I don't know. He keeps
it's Greg Hawkes.
Oh, is it Greg Hawkes?
Yeah, I worked with Greg for a long, long time.
That was Greg Hawkes.
We went to Berkeley together and ended up, we were in a band called Waves, and then that turned into Richard and the Rabbits, which turned into the Cars.
Right.
And then at this point, Greg's, I believe he's doing, and it was Roger Powell before.
Roger Powell.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, and Greg took over the keyboard chair.
Wow.
Greg
How
Hawkes.
cool.
Yeah, I think Todd's got another album out.
I think I read that in Guitar Player magazine recently.
Yeah, he keeps putting them out. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like
Philly guy from Philadelphia. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yep. To the Quinto Mara, to me, it was like you said, it was epic, and it's very cinematic. It could have been a great soundtrack. That track.
I think a lot of Happy the Man music would be great for soundtracks.
Yeah. I think you're right about that.
They're getting re-released here. Rick spent like 3 years with Ken Scott working at a thing where they remastered both the Arista albums over at Air London, and those are going to get released real soon.
Okay.
And so maybe they'll have a rebirth, because Only Love is going to be such a big hit.
That's right.
Seek out all the old Happy the Man stuff.
Gonna be in the top 10 on Billboard. All right,
we're counting on you to help that happen.
No problem. Piece of cake.
There it is.
All right, let's put this question to rest about the name of the band. I heard it was Stanley's brother that came up with the name, and of course, it came from the Genesis song "Happy the Man." That Stanley's brother was very much into Christianity. Tell me the truth. How did it come?
He came up with the name, and actually we had no idea of the genesis.
Really?
Of
no, not at all.
Because that's where a lot of people thought we came up with it.
Right.
But my brother Ken came up with it. He mostly was inspired by the quotes in the Bible about happy is the man, and then also from Goethe's Faust.
Right.
So that's where he got it from. And yeah, it was a strange name, but we all loved it and said, okay, we're happy the man.
Well, it's a great name. One of my favorite radio stations. I was actually a DJ back in late 70s. I did top 40 in Annapolis, WNAV in Annapolis, which
really? I know that station.
Do you? Pat Sajak bought the station years later. But yeah, I did top 40 back in the day. But I listened to a lot of WGTB. And
GTB.
Oh yeah.
Remember those days?
Man, they were the best.
Yeah.
You always heard something new. That there was a time period where you always heard something totally that
great
you
station.
would never have been exposed to.
Yep.
And John Page, Leo, Professor Mota, all those guys, man. They just I remember hearing Hatfield in the North for the first time on that radio station.
Those guys really pushed your music too, didn't they?
Yeah, they were our biggest promoter in the Washington area for sure.
How about HFS? Did they help you guys out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did. Not quite to the extent of GTB, but HFS was in our court too.
Yep, those are great stations back in the day.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the long-haired ponytail guy that. Surf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was real. He definitely pushed Happy the Man.
He was a good guy. The interesting story, Clive Davis. He signed you guys, right? But he didn't really know what kind of music you guys were doing, but he signed you anyway. Is that right?
Yeah, we
surprise.
It was fun for sure. But yeah, that was we had a guy named Stu Fine who was an A&R guy for Arista that used to see us at the Celador. I think he was the first initial connection there. And then me and Mike and the boys back then got in a van and drove up to New York and did a showcase for him.
SIR Studios, remember?
SIR Studios.
Yeah, man, it was like insane.
And I don't know if you remember, Mike, but that
I remember it real well, dude.
We did a 45-minute set.
Yeah.
And he sat there with his eyes closed and his head
no sound.
Back.
We got done with the first piece. I forget what it was. Was it Starborn? I can't remember.
Probably Starborn.
I think it was Starborn because I remember doing this little xylophone I used to do with my hand. My hand was shaking so much, from just being like, because we worked so hard to get to that point, and here we were. And I remember we finished that piece, which was probably a 9-minute piece. Nobody did shit. I mean, they just sat there.
Oh, there was no reaction.
No reaction at all. And so we,
Don't you hate that?
So we did. What we do? 3 tunes? 4? I can't remember.
I think it was a 45-minute set. I think we did 7 or 8 songs.
And then
when it all finished, I just remember him getting up from his chair with having his eyes closed, and he just looked at us and kind of said, "Well, this was way beyond my my hearing or taste or something like that." But my head of A&R here, Rick Chernoff, loves you guys and wants me to sign you. So we're going to sign you.
Oh.
Remember, he took us to the back room for another meeting. We sat and talked with him for 20 minutes or something. And I remember asking, did we get signed? It was almost, we did.
Well, we don't know. I think we did.
It was just like, it was a whirlwind.
That's crazy.
Well, and then it came down to with Arista, they wanted to know that in the future there might be some vocals, because at that point we were totally instrumental.
Right.
And I remember all of us looking around at each other. You want to sing? I don't want to sing.
You were the only
one. I was like, well, hell, if they're going to sign us, I'll sing. I don't care. I sang some in high school.
That's funny.
That's how that all began.
That's pretty cool, though, auditioning for Clive Davis. You must have been a little nervous, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, we worked a long time to get to that point, and we did.
Yeah, it did. Thankfully, we were very well rehearsed.
Oh, incredibly well rehearsed. Yeah, we could have. A tornado could have come through. We still would have got the tune.
Yeah, we would have kept going. That's right.
We could nail it anywhere, anytime for anybody. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I had my first job in radio was in Sebring, Florida, in the middle of nowhere. So from there, I had a interview with WHFS and with the head honcho. I forgot his name at HFS, but he, in his office, he had a big Frank Sinatra autograph picture, and I love Sinatra, and we started talking a little bit.
Yeah.
So he liked me as a DJ, but then he says, "Can you fix transmitters?" Because I had an FCC first class license, but I only knew things on paper. I couldn't fix transmitters. Back then, you needed that ticket. You needed the FCC first class license. So as soon as I said, no, I can't fix transmitters, he says, goodbye.
You're gone. Wow.
Oh, man.
He wanted a guy that could do both,
Yeah.
Save money or whatever. Yeah. Oh, well. That's what happens. Your relationship with Celador. Talk about that a little bit. How did you get interested? And Celador actually managed you for a bit. How did that happen?
Yeah, they came in, I think, after we had already been playing the room, the Celador.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
And then with Bobby Baker, was the guy that was there that ended up managing us under the Celador umbrella there. But we never really had meetings with them or anything. They were the Sam Lahamadous and Jack Boyles were off in their own world.
The only meeting I remember, Stanley, was when we did that Catch a Rising Star video thing. When yeah, we were talking with him there. That's the only one I remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and it was filmed, and then
and that thing is on YouTube. I can't believe it's on.
Really, I got to check it out.
Yeah.
Huh.
They loved Michael because the rest of us at that stage of our career were pretty boring to watch. And Michael was a trip to watch because he's in his white leotards and big cage around him with pipes and wind chimes and everything down to talking little monkeys on stuff. I mean, he had everything hanging on
symbols.
Right. Little symbol guy.
It was all there for a purpose.
Oh man, thank God we had you because there was nothing else visual with the rest of us.
Yeah, but just listening to us and the amazement of what we could do.
Well, that's the thing. We were like a little orchestra.
Yeah, it was a complete unit that just was incredible.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Did you guys play? Did you ever play the Birchmere as well, or no?
It doesn't ring a bell to me, but I don't know, Stan.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did. I know we played there once when we reformed. Didn't we, Ron? Would you would have done that with us, I guess.
I don't really remember
I think we did. We did do the Birchmere.
Yeah, I don't remember names as much as just the actual performance.
Yeah.
And there was the Bayou, of course.
Yeah, the Bayou we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rock club, though.
Yeah, it was.
We did what's the theater we did with Renaissance there? That was
the Warner Theater.
National.
The Warner Theater, yeah.
Yeah. That was beautiful. That might be one of the best gigs matchups we had.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm friends with Annie. Annie has.
Oh, cool. She lives in PA, right?
Yeah, she does in Bucks County. Yeah.
Yeah. Annie Haslam.
She's awesome.
Angelic.
Yeah, she still sings. She paints. She's an artist. Yeah. She's so cool.
Yeah.
Never met her, but love her voice.
You guys got some other projects going on
behind you.
Or is it Stanley?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oblivion Sun. I mean, I got confused here. You got Pedal Giant Animals Project. The Zeitgeist project.
Zeitgeist.
What's going on here?
Zeitgeist was a total Frank Wyatt project that he did during his last years there, and he wanted to have everybody that was ever part of Happy the Man do something on the record.
Well, that's cool. Yeah,
and it's a very thick, dense record. To me, there's so much, there's too much going on for me. It's hard to pay attention to anything. But the record before that, was the Pedal Giant Animals. That
Okay.
was both me and Frank, and it was all the reject songs that Happy the Man didn't want to do when we were doing the Muse Awakens.
Right.
So it was that lineup with Dave Rosenthal and Joe Bergamini, Rick Kennel, me and Frank. And every song on that record is something that we submitted to the band, and they were like, nah, we don't want to do those ones.
And
so
Oblivion Sun, Oblivion Sun, that was you and Frank again, or?
Yeah, that was just me and Frank.
Right.
And yeah, I think I had a little Line 6 pod, and every guitar note on that record is going through that little thing.
And you've got a solo album are you working on, or is it finished?
Not anymore.
No? What happened?
all my solo album stuff is going to translate beautifully to the Happy the Man project here. So yeah, I've probably got enough for 3 or 4 records.
Good.
Worth of all instrumental stuff.
Right. So how about you? How about Ron and Mr. Beck there?
As new material, you mean? Or
yeah, do you have any? You working on anything? Or
well, the next one for Ron is the 4th of July tune. That's right at the top of the list to learn.
Okay.
And I have a backlog of a ton of stuff because most of, I guess, the last ever since the turn of 2000, been doing a lot of scoring for Discovery Channel, National Geographic,
cool.
That kind of thing. So I actually ended up doing over 750 shows.
Wow. Really? I didn't even know that.
So I have like tons and tons and tons of music. And I ended up, I was able to retain my rights on the music, which was almost unheard of.
Yep.
Yeah, that is unheard of.
So I have all this music that's just, it's a lot of it is very geared towards Happy the Man. It could, translate really easily that way. I know I played a bunch for Mike once when he came over. Yeah, so there's a big backlog of stuff to jump into that I have, tons of stuff.
So Ron, besides being a drummer, do you play other instruments as well? And
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, really, I've honed it down to just keyboards at this point.
Okay.
But, I've played a lot of different instruments. Did a lot of things with symphony orchestras, opera companies even. So that whole classical realm is something that I was able to kind of, rely on in the scoring world. And now kind of bring, one of the things that was the most exciting to me when we were thinking about putting the band back together was Stan was saying that he wanted more orchestral stuff,
right?
Which is kind of my bag. So yeah, orchestral writing that is just been something that I've always been drawn to, even more so than drums. Even when I heard like the Rite of Spring for the first time, it just like when I was 16 or something,
right.
It just totally blew my mind, and changed my whole thing, changed my whole musical.
Igor was a progger.
Igor was a progger. Nobody rocks like Igor or Bartok, or Bella. Those two guys just
But I'll have to say, Ron, we've talked about it before, and Stanley. I love Ron's drumming, and the two of us drum completely different.
Really,
Ron's very aggressive drummer. I'm more almost orchestrated, like he was talking about himself when he does his scoring. I love percussion. I love all forms of it. So for me to landscape and percussionize and do different colors and that kind of thing. Ron's more just dives in and just beats the shit out of stuff that just comes out beautiful. He has the most beautiful drum fills and the way he approaches it. So Ron and I have always wanted to work together. We've just never had a chance to really fulfill that until right now. Seems to be kind of what's happening. So it's a real pleasure to have Stanley kind of put this baby back in the bucket. Yeah, and the two of us to be able to work together and to just see what can happen. So, so
that's actually how we started, because we really wanted to work together. We were gonna, and then Stan called, and it just seemed like cosmic perfection.
Yeah.
But it's so funny when Mike says, we do different styles. He's so funny. He comes over and we'll take a look at a piece. He'll play something, and then I'll play something, and then he'll say that was like so weird and off the wall. I would have never thought of that. And to me, it's just like the most normal thing in the world. It was almost like really. But that's how I feel it. And then he, on the other hand, is just totally complimentary. I think the two styles really complement each other.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's going to be exciting to see how it all plays out.
Well, yeah, we're just kind of opening that can of worms right now. So it's there's a lot that can be done that we're not even close to pulling off. So
if you guys were to tour, how would the layout be? I mean, would you have two drummers, or would you have, would Ron play keyboards?
I think, you tell me, Ron, what you think. I picture a drum kit that you would hold down probably more than but we both would utilize.
That's how I see it too. Yeah,
you have a percussion setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with keyboards all around the drums, and also all your. It would be so cool to have us almost back to back.
Yes. It's a percussion section, basically. Right. It's like I used to have years ago, but more, just more refined.
Yeah. And you have that entire percussion thing, and I have all these keyboards. And
an orchestra we need.
And an orchestra, because that's always been.
It's a mini orchestra.
That's always been my dream, to do live stuff.
Yeah.
And have a band like this that just rocks like crazy, and as a prog thing, and then have an orchestra, a string section just like beating it out, and it's very exciting.
And my favorite thing is if you're laying down hard rock drums like you do so well, I love to do that weather report percussionist over the top with all kinds of whacked out, crazy sailing landscapes, kind of stuff. So boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
So Stanley doesn't.
My blood is pumping.
I think you should do a tour with Crack the Sky and start out in DC, come to Florida. Imagine that, though.
You're in Florida now.
I'm in Florida, but imagine you guys with Crack the Sky in the DC area. You'd sell out everywhere, man. Right?
Probably would. They were a little more popular around here than we were, because they were a more of a Kansas type of band. They were much more accessible. Even though they had a lot of great prog moments, they were much more accessible than we were. And they had a lot of vocals, a lot of harmonies, and
yeah, but you guys are different.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I'd pick up bass with the Dixie Dregs,
There you go.
There you go.
Dregs and Steve Morse.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see him again.
Yeah, man. That'd be awesome. You don't need an orchestra. Just get a sax player and a violinist, You get away with that. That's all you need, man. I love violin and sax together, especially.
Yeah, it's a nice sound.
It is a nice sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, man. I wish you guys would tour, though. I'm sure your kids are grown. You probably got grandkids like me. I got 5 grandkids. So you're free. You can do whatever you want. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can do it.
You got to do a few dates.
Again, we'll see what happens on that.
And imagine if you went overseas. I mean, they love Prague.
I love it. No.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever tour overseas back in the day?
I mean, I would have wished we would have, but we never did.
Yeah, that would have made
a
all
lot
the
of
difference.
I did a lot of touring overseas, but never with Happy the Man.
With Blue Oyster Cult, or
Yeah.
That would have made all the difference in our career had we.
I think so too, Stan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good band for Europe, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Especially back
in
then.
Asia, you know, and Japan would love it, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Amsterdam, big time. Germany.
Yeah, definitely Amsterdam.
Well, let's go.
Okay.
Not only that.
Okay, Ray.
All
talked us
right.
into
I'll
it.
put it together. I'll use my money.
Awesome.
Oh, hey,
man.
okay, wait. Okay, thanks for so serious.
Not only that, Ron could play some Blue Oyster Cult songs, you know, in the
Yeah,
set.
just to get him,
I'll
just
play
to
the
get him in.
cowbell on that
Yeah.
Then we'll get him in. Then we'll lock the doors. And
I'll play the
man.
cowbell
Yeah, there you go.
right.
on that one.
All right, guys. Here's a question I ask everybody. I get some really interesting answers. Everybody's got to answer. Okay.
Okay.
If you had a Field of Dreams wish, which is my favorite movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be? You can't say Paul McCartney because everybody says that.
To collaborate with.
Perform with, like in a band.
I'm thinking Steve Morse.
Yep. Okay. He's a good guitar player. Yeah.
I'd probably say Alan Holdsworth.
Okay. Good answer.
Who we recently lost.
Yeah.
But if I go way back, I'd say Debussy. I want to hang out with Claude.
Oh, man.
And Maurice Ravel.
Okay, Ravel.
Igor and Bella, man.
Yeah.
That's who I want to hang with.
Good answers. Good. I've never had those answers.
All right.
Ron, who is yours?
You said
I believe it was Steve Morse.
Yeah.
Morse.
I
And
do. I
Mike.
definitely do a McLaughlin as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so one of the last albums, I really love the Bop Till You Drop or whatever it's called. Bop. To Bop or Not to Bop, I think it was.
By John McLaughlin?
Yeah.
I know he's been out touring recently. What a beautiful man he is.
He's a nice guy too. I've had him on the show.
Oh, I bet. Really?
Yeah.
That's so
good.
He's done things with Shakti.
Yeah, he's got a whole new version of Shakti.
Yeah.
And a couple of nice new PRS guitars that Paul has made him.
Mm-hmm. You guys, you drummers. I'm friends with Billy Cobham.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, yeah.
Love Billy.
Spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Spectrum album? That was incredible.
Oh, Spectrum, man. That's the album.
You guys could do that album.
Who was the guitar player on that? Tommy Bolin?
Tommy Bolin, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, man, that's such a good record.
I like to hear you guys pull that off, you know? Pull off the Spectrum album.
Who else what?
Oh, you guys can pull off the Spectrum album, you know?
Recreate boy, that'd be fun. Yeah, Tommy Bolin, I loved him.
He was great.
He was an excellent guy.
I know his brother. A lot of people associated with Tommy Bolin. They keep his, you know.
With who?
His brother.
Johnny really?
Bolin. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are keeping his name going.
Oh, that's beautiful. He reminds me sort of Rory Gallagher.
Yeah, you're right.
He's one of these really great guitars that somehow people are still trying to keep the flame alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Oh, Rory was very underrated. Definitely. He was a great guitar player. Michael, we haven't heard from you, right?
Yeah, you gotta answer that one.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I was trying to figure out who. It's more sort of a weather report kind of scenario with Zarnall, and I mean, that kind of situation I would love. The Paul Simon Graceland album era.
Oh yeah.
that kind of groove I like that a lot. But I mean, to be honest, what I did in Happy the Man, that era we were together, I'd fall back into that in a second, you know. So that didn't get much better. So
we lost another legend, Les McCann. Remember him?
Oh yeah,
Les
yeah,
McCann.
Yeah, jazz legend, man. He was great.
When did he pass?
Recently.
Oh man,
I tried to get an interview with him, and he was already in hospice, I think.
Yeah,
yeah. His manager told me.
Hey man, everybody's 70 and above now, man. That was in that era. I mean,
but he's jumping off.
Yeah, I mean, Melanie was, 73. I think it's.
She wasn't. Yeah, she used to call me up.
Did she?
Out of the blue. Yeah, I like Melanie. She was cool.
Okay. I know who I'd play with in a second. Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell.
Nice.
Love yeah, Joni you'd be perfect for Joni.
Yeah, love that.
That blue period.
It's that whole kind of that flavor
with Jocko and
you got it. Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Who are some of the guys you guys hung out with back in the day? I mean,
each other.
Besides each other. I know Ron probably knew a lot of guys.
Ron's had a lot more exposure than me and Mike. For sure.
I probably rubbed elbows with a few. No, absolutely. I can, I'll just have to dust off the memories there.
Well, for me,
but I remember Axl when he was coming up.
Yep.
Axl.
Before Guns N' Roses really hit. He would come to our shows with Blue Oyster Cult. He was like a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him coming to me at one point. And every show had this big drum solo in it. It was like every show, but Godzilla was, the drum solo, and I did a whole solo, and did this one part, I guess, and he liked this one beat that I did, which it was just like it was just like cracking the snare drum, but he was like, I love that one thing where you did that one hit, and I was like, what? But I think he liked my energy. That's what that's kind of what I get.
You were an animal.
Yeah, I was. Sure. With the hair and the
Oh yeah, you were a rock and roll star.
Yeah, man.
I had one of the guys on the show from Blue Oyster Cult when he had a new album out, solo album. He's out with the band now. I forgot his name. It's not coming to me.
You're not talking about Buck or Don, right?
No.
I wonder. It's one of the new guys.
No, one of the old guys, the original guys.
The old guys.
Yeah.
Is Bloom?
Not Bloom. No.
And their Lanier died.
No. I can't remember now. Gosh.
One of the Bouchard brothers, probably.
I don't know.
It'll come back to me.
Oh well.
But
the other
one thing I want to add to your question about asking, about people that made an impact or that we hung out with back in the day.
I know who you're going to say.
Who?
Gabriel.
Nah,
Peter?
It wasn't the Gabriel story.
All right.
Gentle Giant. I first heard them in 1969. They were opening up for a band called Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we went there to see Coliseum because I really liked Dave Clemson, the guitar player. And this band, Gentle Giant, came out and just mesmerized us for an hour and a half. And we were all 14, 15 years old, went backstage because it was so easy to get backstage in Europe back then. Mm-hmm. And they just were the humblest, sweetest people still to this day that I've ever met in the rock and roll world. And an
incredible band.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Incredible to say the least. And they were so humble. I mean, they were like, you really liked it? And we were like, are you kidding? We don't even realize what we just experienced. You guys are amazing. And they just made such an impact on me as a 15-year-old that I was like, I want to model my career after you guys as far as amazing musicianship, but humble as can be. And it's like, okay, these are the guys I choose to follow as far as, career and personality. And they influence my Happy the Man stuff for sure.
Oh,
I can tell. They were so different too, weren't they?
Oh man,
incredible.
Talk about time changes.
Talk about time changes and making it still have a 4/4 kind of a feel to it,
and adding vocals on top of that,
and insane madrigal vocals. All the different old folky Renaissance-y stuff they did was extraordinary.
They got like
5-part harmonies. Ray Shulman switching to the cello, or the violin, and Kerry Minier switching to the cello. It's like, man, these guys could play.
They were incredible. Yeah.
One just passed away too. Who was it, Stan? Was it? Just happened last year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Shame. One of the brothers. Oh, well,
one of the Schulmans. Yeah, I think it was Ray.
I think it was Ray. Yeah.
Yeah. But those guys still to this day are sweet as ever. You can Gary Green.
Yep.
Still playing like phenomenally, and still the sweetest guy. I got to bump into him a lot at the Near Fest shows, and let him know what an impact he and his band had on me, and that was wonderful.
Did you guys ever open up for anybody at the Capitol Center?
No,
I don't remember. We did a lot of our.
We never did.
A lot of our own stuff.
Biggest place we did was the Comac Long Island Arena up in New York, opening for Hot Tuna.
Really? That's cool.
You remember that gig, Mike?
Yeah, it was
oh my God. Arista had put us on tour with Hot Tuna. And here we're in front of 10,000 screaming Hot Tuna
fans.
They were throwing bottles at us.
Oh no.
I think we opened with Stumpy, and I don't even think we got through the whole song.
Oh God.
They were throwing so much crap at us, and I remember they finally said, guys, let's get off stage. This is getting dangerous. And
it must have been Hot Tuna Electric.
Yeah.
I think you had a chance.
They were electric.
Yeah, that was electric Hot Tuna.
Yeah. It was the same thing with the Rick Derringer show too. Remember we did that? It was the same crap. People throwing stuff on
man.
I think.
Which one?
Just with Rick Derringer. We opened up. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, the rock and roll crowd
didn't rough.
Care much for us. But I can imagine being a listener going to see that kind of rock and roll and hearing a band like Happy the Man.
But we had a big setup, especially with my percussion rig.
Oh, it was so hard to set up.
Yeah, we had a crew that did it, which was great. But yeah, it was
big Hammond organs and Fender.
Yeah, it was. We pretty much did our own thing most of the time.
Yeah, we couldn't get off stage in 5 minutes. That's for sure.
No.
The same thing happened to Livingston Taylor. He opened up for Jethro Tull, and he was booed off the stage.
Oh, really?
He told me about that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but you guys, it's not like you're an acoustic band. You get, the prog band to me could open up for anybody.
Yeah. Got some teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You guys could have opened up for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Camel.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of bands. There's a lot of bands we could have.
Yeah, definitely.
Arista, though, they didn't want to send us to Europe.
Right, so that's true. You got to listen to the record company.
That tax write-off status.
Yeah, they didn't really know what they had.
No, they had no idea.
Well, Hot Tuna, those guys are from DC. So you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yorma, both of them.
I thought they were San Francisco.
No, they're originally from DC. Both of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were good friends with Danny Gatton, a local guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Danny, what a monster.
Yeah, he was.
And of course, we had Roy Buchanan as well.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
that's two of the better guitar players from Washington. DC.
Yeah.
Both of those names. I mean, those guys were as good as anybody.
We had some great musicians from the DC area, you know. We really
Yeah.
did. You guys were
We
in a
used to
great
play
era.
Tim Ironman. You remember Tim Ironman, sax guy?
Oh yeah, Tim Ironman and the East Coast Offering.
Yeah.
I remember them.
Well, that's
I
where
do
we
remember
got
them.
Shannon Ford, the drummer from. He
Yeah,
played
Shannon,
with Vision
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Greg Karukas, phenomenal jazz keyboardist. And I think Tim Wynn was the bass player.
God, good memory there, Stan.
Very
Pulling
good.
rabbits out of my It's all the blood I'm finally getting to
Oh,
my
God.
brain from my surgery.
Yeah.
I had Tom Paxton on not that long ago.
The
He
folk
said when
singer.
when he played Celador a lot. The first time he played, he said he was scared to death.
It's a very intimate venue, man. It was one of my
that
favorite
place.
venues. I love that place to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so intimate. It was great.
How are the acoustics?
Really
Good.
good.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
It always sounded great in there.
The Warner Theater's acoustics were great. I saw a lot of groups there. I saw Supertramp there, one of their early tours. And
be a good place to see Supertramp.
yeah. I saw
the Warner
Tubes.
Theater's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still going strong. Still going strong. All right. So what's next for you guys? We got the new album coming out. When is it coming out?
Well, nobody knows the answer to that. I think we're of the same head of, as we have a song finished, we're going to throw them out there rather than waiting for an entire record to be completed before we put it out. The way the world is right now with social media and all, I mean, that's my vision of it anyway, is as each song is finished and complete, and where all four of us love the final mix,
right?
Put it out there.
Okay.
And get to work on the next one.
Well, you got the single. The next single is going to come out next, right?
Yeah,
a new single.
That'll be. It's called "We the People," and we're in the process of tweaking it up right now.
Good.
It should be pretty
Looking
soon.
forward to that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, when that comes out, I'll make sure I put it in all my sites.
Very cool, my friend.
Appreciate
promote the
it.
hell out of it, man.
Yeah, great.
Well, it's a true honor to meet you, and
it's an honor to see you guys, man. It's like family, you know, back in DC, back in the good old days.
Yeah, man.
You know, they were great times.
They were great times.
Yeah, very good times. I do want to say special thanks to the great Billy James of Glass Onion PR for arranging this interview. I've known Billy now for, I don't know, close to 15 years.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, thanks, Billy.
Good guy. Really good guy.
Man.
He's good at what he does.
We've only met him recently. So.
Yeah, he's good at what he does, man.
Yeah, he's real good at what he does.
He's
We've probably done
a lot
more
of people.
interviews in the past week than we ever did in the whole early career.
Really? Yeah, he's good at that. Yeah, he promoted Melanie too, and I just found out about Melanie on Facebook. I had no idea.
Because she saw it this morning.
Yeah, she's releasing a new live album. Not currently, but it's a live album from the past. So I was getting in contact with Billy saying, you know, I'd like to have Melanie back on the show again, you know?
And he had a whole list of questions for you.
Then I found out and I said, crap, man. It sucks. But I knew she had health issues. And you know.
Man.
Yeah, caught up.
Yeah, caught up to her, I guess. But she was really happy with her son. Her son and her kind of played together and did an album together. And she was really proud of her son, which is really cool.
Yep.
Well, you can purchase the new release, Happy the Man Only Love. You can get that probably on your website. Is that the best place to if they want to pick up the single, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's on the happytheman.com website.
Okay.
It's on the Happy the Man official Facebook page.
Right.
There's links to it. They can just go to YouTube and put in Happy the Man Only Love, and they'll get to see the long version of the video of that. Where else is it, guys? I know it's on all the streaming
sites.
Yeah.
Every single streaming service.
Spotify. Yeah.
And they got to make sure they pick up the 2004 album, The Muse Awakens. And that's available on Amazon.com. That's a great album.
I think it is.
I really, really enjoyed that album.
How about that?
It's a great album. I love it. You got your official website. There's also a Everything Happy the Man site. There's a Happy the Man reunion site. And of course, you have a fan Facebook site as well.
Yes.
I've got a list of your discography from the beginnings, 1977 up, 74, I guess, right?
Beginnings,
is that with yeah, Death's Crown, Beginnings, Third Better Late, Crafty Hands, Happy the Man, The Muse Awakens, all these great albums. And you got a great live album out as well. So
there's true.
Plenty of music.
Louis Rock City.
Remember Louis Rock City?
That's where that gig was from.
I remember that place. I used to hang out there. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
And Baltimore had the Hollywood Palace. I saw a lot of shows there. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, Gentle Giant played there.
That's right. They did. Hart played there too.
And it was a short ceiling kind of a room, and it's like, oh my God, nobody here knows who the hell Gentle Giant is. Why do they play it here?
I saw Spirit there too.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, I love Spirit.
They were cool.
12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus.
Yeah.
I've been pushing that record my whole life.
Really?
Because most folks have never heard that Spirit album. And to me, it's the best record they ever put out. It came out about the same time Sgt. Pepper's and all that came out. So they kind of got squashed, I think, by the Beatles a bit there. But that whole record, if you have not heard 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus, what about you guys, Mike and Ron? Do you know those records?
No, I agree. I always love Spirit.
Oh man, they're just brilliant records. Every single song is the whole album is a conceptual album. The vocals, the harmonies, powerful, extraordinary. And Randy California, I think, is in peak form on that record.
Yep.
So check it out, you folks.
Definitely. Stanley, Ron, Michael, thank you so much, man, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Great to meet you.
Hopefully you'll play a few gigs.
I hope so. Yeah.
It's been a while.
You'll probably know about it because you'll be the one setting it up.
Yeah, I'll be setting it up and investing the money.
Yeah.
I got some good places to play for you down here in my area.
Bet you know?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Clearwater, Tampa, St. Pete. Yeah.
That's my hometown here.
That's the Sloppy Joe.
Where I am.
You guys would fit really good at the Largo. It used to be called the Largo Cultural Center. They changed the name now in Largo, Florida. That'd be a good place for you. Montrose played there. The Zombies. It's a good small venue, and they always sell out.
Okay, go ahead and line it up.
I'll line it up. Okay, I'll let you know. All right.
Send the check. Send the check.
No problem. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
My friend.
Hey, thank you.
And keep spreading the love.
I sure will. Take care, guys.
All right, brother.
Later.
Bye-bye.